All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Blue Collar Sports. Daryl sitting here with James.
Word.
And Roger.
Hello.
All right, we're dealing with a little bit of an echo this morning in our little bedroom studio. I apologize to everybody's ears today, but I'm not sure what is going on.
Not from the lack of trying.
Oh my God, not at all. So, enough of the technical BS that no one really cares about. We're going to talk sports. We're going to start with everybody's favorite team that has underperformed under Scott Frost, the Cornhuskers. Who are they playing this Saturday?
Indiana Hoosiers.
Indiana.
You know, the Indiana volleyball team had a heck of a match last night against Iowa. And we will... I don't even want to talk about football. I'd rather just go on to something else. Because I mean, Husker football. But, okay, yeah. We are favored somehow by 5. I don't know why. Indiana's 3-1. Nebraska's 1-3. Even though we're at home. Why?
New coach. Yeah.
I don't know.
I got nothing.
The last few years, we've been playing worse at home than we do on the road. So I don't know.
I agree. We do play worse on the home.
I mean, I don't think a bye week gets you 5 points. You have a new coach, new deep coordinator now. Same players, so nothing really dramatically changed except an extra week of practice. And again, yeah.
Indiana dealing with injuries that we don't know about. I don't know.
Right.
The overs are set at 60. James is laughing because I'm still trying to get some technical stuff and I'm walking all over the place. And it's mayhem here at the bedroom studio in Lincoln. The overs are set at 60, so they must think Indiana's going to score lights out because Nebraska's defense couldn't stop an old lady in a walker.
So that
scoring.
means we're going to score 35, 40?
She was scooting right up the sideline.
It is never the offense's fault.
Yes.
Well, I will agree this year with the Nebraska team that we have. I don't put a whole lot of onus on the offenses as I do on the defense.
Indiana's defense wins this game.
Right.
That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are some interesting matchups this week, though, in college football.
Oh, go on.
Friday night, Washington, UCLA, both 4-0. UCLA not getting much love from the polls. What's funny on that side note is K-State also, after they beat Oklahoma, is wondering why they didn't get much love in the polls. Right? It's still early. Control win your conference and you'll be fine. You'll be in the polls. Let's not worry about it. Like me and Ryder said, a little too early.
K-State isn't that talented. They have talent, but they're not that talented to be in the polls yet, I don't think. There's too many other teams that aren't in the polls that have way more talent.
Thank you.
UCLA struggled against the South Alabama team, only won by 1 point. Otherwise, they got a pretty weak schedule. Washington's got wins over Michigan State and Stanford.
Yeah, Washington's favored by 2.5.
Both teams do get 500 yards a game. Over under 65, so...
Yeah, 64.5. That always likes to change pre-game time.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, you have a number 15 Washington, unranked UCLA, both 4-0, Pac-12 rivalry. So it's a 50-50 game, no matter how you look at it. Throw all the rankings out the window in a conference game.
Yeah.
Ask K-State and Oklahoma.
So Washington and UCLA, 9:30 Central, 7:30 Pacific. At UCLA, UCLA is going to be a Big Ten. I'll call it transfer because that's what all the students are doing into a new conference.
Yes.
Washington by 2.5. I don't know.
I lean towards the home team on those big games, but Washington showed me something last few weeks. I really like the way Washington's playing.
I agree. Washington is tough right now.
Yeah, Washington's got the old Indiana quarterback, Michael Penix.
Penix Jr. is amazing.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the running for Heisman at the end of the year. We are going to move on to number 2, Bama taking on Arkansas, or Arkansas if you live in Kansas. This is a Saturday 2:30 game. Alabama's favored by 17. Arkansas beat Cincinnati, but then lost to Texas A&M last week.
In a close one.
Very close.
23-21. Yep.
Yeah. Alabama favored by 17. Overs and unders at 61.
I really think Arkansas covers.
Do you?
That's 17.
Arkansas doesn't have the best defense. They are allowing 26 points a game.
Right.
Yes, Alabama's defense is very good.
I don't see Arkansas getting by it. If they do, holy crap, that's an amazing upset.
Right.
Um,
I think they keep it close. They battled Alabama the last few years, hung in there, but
I see what you're saying. Cover, they just have to keep it within 17, 16. Yep. But
and has Alabama looked awesome this year? I mean, that Texas game, if Ewers doesn't get hurt, they lose that game.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they look better defensively. Defense
Yes.
is where they're doing real good. I believe Alabama probably covers in this game, winning like 40-20, something like that.
40-20. Yeah, that still keeps it over the 17. So Roger thinks Bama's going to cover. James thinks Bama is not going to cover. One of these days, one of us is going to listen to all of our shows and then tally who's got the best picks, because I haven't done that yet.
You know, I was thinking about that last week. I was like, man, we should probably have like a running thing. And Roger's coming in, 7 games over 500, and I'm sitting over here 2 games below. But
early in the season, we'll do that soon. That is a 2:30 game in Arkansas, 2:30 Central, and
that's the other thing. It's at Arkansas.
I don't think that matters. I don't think that matters. I think Alabama comes in and just shows them we are the team to beat again this year. Moving on to Oklahoma State against the Bears of Baylor. Number 16, Baylor against number 9, Oklahoma State.
And we got the rumor of the Baylor coach for Nebraska.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Saturday, 2:30 Central. Bears are favored at home by -2. And Roger loves to say the home team always gets 3 when they're favored, but this is 2. 5 in college, 3 in pros.
No, he said that's a fact.
Fact.
Yeah, fact, not 5.
Yeah.
Oh, fact. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested in this game. I think Baylor will slow down Oklahoma State.
Averaging 51 a game, Oklahoma State.
51 points a game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But that's what I think Baylor's defense will slow down Oklahoma State and get this win. I think they cover. I think it'll be a little lower scoring than, what both teams are been doing this year.
Definitely,
like you said, Oklahoma State scoring 51. I don't think they score but 20. Baylor probably scores 28. Somewhere around there.
Oklahoma State doesn't have the best defense. They're allowing 22 points a game.
Yeah.
But that stat line is a little misleading to me. Why do I point that out? Central Michigan scored 44, but they held Arizona State to 17, and Arkansas, Pine Bluff, just a talented Arkansas team, to 7.
Right. Yes, very skewed. Baylor, we already know, has a really, really good defense. We saw it last week against Iowa State. And, I totally agree. Baylor handles this game pretty decently and takes a stronghold on that Big 12.
All right. I agree. I mean, it's going to be a fun 2:30 game on Saturday at Baylor. Overs and unders are 56.5.
I like the over. I know we talked about defense, but those teams can still put it up there.
Oh, they definitely can. Especially when you win against a Central Michigan team and you allow them to have 44 points. So there is going to be a lot of scoring. That's going to lead us into our next game because Florida State and Wake
oh man,
are both really good. And their overs are set at 56.5, 57. I'm sorry. I said that wrong.
65.5.
Yeah,
I was still looking at the overs for Oklahoma State and Baylor. So Florida State's 23, Wake is 22. I think Wake is better.
I do too. They should have had Clemson, honestly.
They should have.
Yeah.
Overtime. I mean, that shows you take the number 5 team to overtime and just barely lose. I think Florida State's in for it. I was really surprised that Florida State's favored by 7 on the road. Now, they are very talented. So is Wake.
Totally agree. Yeah, I like I said against number 5 Clemson last week, exchanged blow for blow, went into double overtime, and I would have went for the first down. I don't know what the play call was. Instead of it was a 3rd or 4th and 7, throws it to the end zone instead of trying to get that 7-8 yards and get a new set of downs. I'd go for the win. I get it, but you went blow for blow with Clemson. You know, Wake Forest definitely has talent. I think they take Florida State this weekend. Another 2:30 game. I mean, good grief, you're going to have that channel, that remote control ready to go. Just channel surfing, flipping to all these games.
Yeah, they have Florida State favored by 6.5. I don't think
All
that
the
happens.
networks love you to flip channels.
I don't know if Wake will get it done. I think they'll cover the 6.5.
Right.
Yeah, I'll just
They covered last week in the overtime win against Clemson. I mean,
That was my upset. I had picked them to win.
I think it's an upset
And-
because you won the bet.
Right, they
If you-
covered.
If you put money on it, that's a win.
I would have won. Yep.
So Wake played Clemson last week. Clemson is at home against North Carolina State Saturday. It's a night game, 6:30 Central. Clemson's defense is a little suspect. Their defensive coordinator, Brenton Venables, went to the Sooners, and he's now the Sooners head coach. So that kind of explains a lot that their defense isn't the best.
All right. But the over-under in this game is only like 43 points. Really low. For a primetime game, the players are waiting all day, hyped up, ready to go, and they're looking for a punt fest, apparently.
yes, 40 seems awful low. After watching Clemson give up 45 to Wake Forest, you think it would go over.
I don't know if that's a good argument. Wake Forest is amazing. I think Wake Forest is a top 10 team. And it's weird to say that out loud because you've never seen Wake Forest that strong in football before.
Right.
But they're showing some really good strength. They're matching everybody really well.
Both teams are 4-0 in this game.
Yeah. So it's a battle of the unbeatens. Who comes out on top? Does NC State catapult themselves into a playoff race with this win? Or does Clemson lose the playoff chance by losing at home?
I'm on NC State's side. I think defensively, just like Clemson, they both have good defenses. But as a package team and a more solid offense, I like NC State. Clemson really hasn't, again, not a one that's dominated anyone that they should have, like Wake Forest. They know going in that was a big game, a lot of talk, and they took to overtime. Granted, it was on the road, but still, like you said, 45 points given up. I expect to win. Luckily, you beat them in double overtime.
There were a few overtime games, college and NFL. I love a good overtime game. I really do.
Yeah.
And I enjoy. I like the NFL teams because I honestly don't think every single NFL player understands the changes that have made a few years ago.
Isn't that weird? When some of these players after the game or getting interviewed or whatever don't even know what the overtime rules are.
That's coaching.
Yeah.
That's coaching. Recap, we went over a bunch of stuff, starting off with Indiana, Nebraska. I don't know why Nebraska's favored still. I don't get it. Indiana defense wins that game to me. And then Husker volleyball is going to be September 30th against Rutgers at 6 p.m. I'm bringing this up again because on Friday at the arena where we play basketball, I'm not going to give any banks any airtime, but this is free tickets. Go to huskers.com/tickets and you can get free tickets to watch both the men's and the women's teams The men will have a 30-minute practice following a scrimmage by the women, or vice versa. I'm not sure which is going first, but I think it's the women's scrimmage first, followed by a 30-minute practice by the men. And then at 9:30, they're going to have a little concert by Waka Flocka Flame. Free. So if you want to go, Huskers.com/tickets, Friday night at 7 p.m. here in Lincoln at the arena in the Haymarket. So let's move to the NFL.
The big dogs.
Thursday night game. I don't, just the Dolphins at 3-0. I'm dumbfounded.
Same, yeah. And they're facing a 1-2 Cincinnati team that could very easily be 2-1.
Okay, if we would have had this conversation last year, Cincinnati Bengals barely finished above 500. I don't understand how they did it, having so many sacks. The most sacked quarterback. He's going to be the most sacked quarterback again.
Not only sacked, hit.
They're favored by 3.5. I don't know if that guy's made of titanium, but he's going to be one big bruise. Overs are 47.5, and I think Dolphins score all those.
Really?
I do.
I like Cincinnati at home. Big win last week. Granted, it was the Jets, but it was a momentum shifter. Let them know, hey, we're not back on track, but we are getting there. Joe Burrow could become the fourth quarterback, join Aikman, Eli, and Peyton, start an 0-2 and make it back to the Super Bowl. Granted, he's still got to get by the Buffalo Bills, but I think Cincinnati rights the ship and goes 2-2 after tonight.
Yeah, looking at this game right out of the gate, I thought, how's Miami underdogs? But after seeing that Miami does not pressure the quarterback well, maybe Joe Burrow gets a little bit more time to get things done. Maybe Cincinnati does win. Yeah.
Miami giving up 21 points a game. Cincinnati's only given up like 18. So Cincinnati's defense obviously playing better, and they win against, granted, they've had to play the Jets and the Steelers, so not a whole lot of their loss to the Cowboys.
Yeah, Cincinnati has not allowed a touchdown in the last 7 quarters of play.
There you go. And that was their MO last year. They were down every game going into halftime, coming into playoffs, and then in the second half, they just shut teams down. They shut down Kansas City, came back, won that game. In the Super Bowl, they gave up, a field goal, I think, in the second half to the Rams, and they just offensively just couldn't score. Defense gave them every chance to come back and win that Super Bowl, and just couldn't come back and get that score.
Super Bowl teams. Broncos have been to the Super Bowl recently. They're 2-1. They're playing the 0-3 Raiders, 3:25 Sunday. I transitioned this after he said Super Bowl because somehow the 2-1 Broncos are not favored. The Raiders are favored by 2.5, and the overs are set at 45.5.
I 100% agree. I mean, if you have two teams that their record doesn't reflect their talent on their team or their team, Raiders had a couple bad breaks. I mean, the Arizona game, what an implode for the defense to give up that lead late and the loss. Denver is very boring to watch. Love Russell Wilson's skills. He can do it all, run, pass. But that offense is just painful. I don't know if you guys watched the 49er game, but that was just painful. You can't even blame the weather.
So Broncos came out of that with a win. It was 10-11. It wasn't an exciting game, but they won.
Jimmy Garoppolo had a perfect opportunity to seize the Niner fan base. And all he did was still leave it split.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vegas
I
knows something.
I like the Raiders to get on the winning side this weekend.
I think the biggest thing holding the Raiders back.
I see the Broncos come in and win by 1 again.
Really?
Yeah.
Carr's thrown 4 picks. Russell Wilson's only thrown 1.
There's a lot of
That could
players
be the
hurt on
difference.
both sides. It could be the difference. It totally could.
Yep.
I talked over you. What could be the difference?
The interceptions. Carr's thrown 4. Wilson's only thrown 1. So if Carr keeps control of the ball, gets the offense moving. I mean, like I said, Denver's offense, all you got to score is 14 points, and you're going to beat the Denver Broncos.
But it's always about turnovers. They lost a heartbreaker when they had 2 fumbles on the goal line. Melvin Gordon fumbled twice. They would have won that game. Since then, I think their confidence is way down. So this is, to me, their coach either needs to win this or their season is done to have some confidence going in to have a win on the road. But James doesn't think so. And Roger's
No, I like the Raiders.
Roger doesn't think so either. Roger likes the Raiders. All
So
right. But I don't think
after-
they're going to cover by 20.
After this game, say whoever wins, doesn't matter, Raiders, Denver, we can stop the AFC West as being the best division. It's a two-team race with the Chargers and the Chiefs, right? We agree that pretty much the Raiders and Denver are not going to make a lot of noise this year.
I don't see the Chargers making noise. Chargers are.
Chargers with
got
Bosa.
killed.
With Bosa getting hurt.
He's
Yeah.
getting put on the IR. He's going to have surgery
he's
now.
having surgery.
Chargers just got destroyed by Jacksonville.
That was weird. I don't.
So again, AFC West was talked about,
Yeah.
we have 3 teams probably make the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. It might just be the Chiefs making the playoffs.
Well, you have to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I bring that up because the Bucs are playing the Chiefs and the Bucs are not healthy.
No.
The Chiefs have some bruises. The Chiefs are favored by 1 on the road in Florida, possibly in Florida. If it doesn't get played in Florida, it moves to Minneapolis. And that's a Sunday game.
Yeah.
The Sunday night game.
So
Sunday night, yes.
Yep.
overs are set at 45, Chiefs -1. If they play in Minneapolis, those numbers will change, guaranteed.
I don't see that game getting 45 points.
Yeah.
The Bucks cannot. They have no chemistry. They can't get the ball to his wide receivers.
All the new young kids, him missing OTAs, while the media speculates if his wife is making him more worried and he's not thinking about football as much. I mean, he did retire and his wife was like, yeah, I got to spend time with Tom. And then he's like, I'm going back to football.
And you nailed it. All the experience and the talk, he's been in the league so long, he doesn't need all that. Roger, the chemistry, yes. You got new receivers, old receivers. You didn't play hardly any practices. You played 0 preseason. This is your preseason. And now we're looking at them as can't even put no points on the board. So their defense is keeping them in every game. I believe they keep Kansas City on lockdown. The Bucs defense will keep Kansas City held down where they have a shot. But I think it's special teams. I'm not picking this one because I don't know. Kansas City special teams not very good.
Kansas City is -1 on the road. I don't get that.
Yeah,
I don't get that.
I'll take the Chiefs just because, like I said, I don't think it'll hit 35.5 points.
Yeah, I don't either. I think
I
it's going to be a
definitely
weird
take the
one.
unders. Yeah,
Yes.
if I'm making a bet, I'll take the unders.
There's a few games that I wouldn't touch this week. That's one of them with the -1. I would. James did the same thing. I'd take the overs. Honestly, I would take the unders. I said that backwards. James would take the unders on the overs set at 45. I would too. Monday night is a game we're going to get to in a little bit. Before that, Dallas versus the horrible Commanders. Horrible Commanders. Defense wins games. Defense wins. Defense wins. Micah Parsons, James thinks is the best defensive player since Lawrence.
I can say J.J. Watt because Lawrence
JJ.
Taylor's before.
Okay.
So I don't want to go all the way back. There's a lot of good defensive players, and the next one would have to be J.J.
There's
Watt.
great ones.
As far as being a dominant sack.
I'll take his brother's more
Democrat.
dominant than JJ.
True.
Why do I say that? JJ can't stay healthy.
Who's out right now?
His brother.
TJ.
I know. And that's why I said that. Because it's all about staying healthy. You're playing a game that's basically 4 quarters of war.
Right.
It is. It's war with helmets and shoulder pads. And you're like, I'm going out there to win at all costs, no matter what.
I'm running full speed into your body as you run full speed into my body.
And hopefully my helmet doesn't hit your helmet.
Or graze it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dallas leads the league in sacks at 15, and it's spread out between them. It's not just all Micah. Lawrence had 3. DeMarcus Lawrence had 3 last game.
And he might be questionable.
Who?
DeMarcus Lawrence.
I missed that.
At least that's what my internet
Oh,
webpage said.
Yep.
He might be questionable. What does Roger think?
I think the Cowboys will win, based on defense.
No love for Cooper
Carson
Rush?
Wentz started out throwing for 300 yards a game the first 2 games of the season. Last week he was not good.
Sacked 9 times.
9 times. And I see the same thing happening. I see the Cowboys going 3-1. And we can even start a bigger quarterback controversy in Dallas.
No, I know Jerry Jones just like to keep the Dallas in the headlines. It drives me nuts, by the way. There is zero chance that when Dak is healthy, McCarthy is trying to flip a coin.
But the thing about it is they're saying, oh, well, Dak could come back in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And it's like, well, if Cooper's winning, why push it?
Yeah. So my opinion, only because I'm not in their locker room, if they beat Washington, there's no reason to play Dak against the Rams. That win or loss means nothing. If Coop goes in there, Cooper Rush stays quarterback for the Rams game, you give Dak another week to strengthen his hand because the main game will be the Philly game after that. I know we're going farther in the weeks.
No, that's okay. I'm glad you brought up the Rams because the Rams play Monday night. So we get to see what Dallas does with Cooper Rush.
Right.
And they're only favored by 3, which I would actually bump up to 7. I would take this all day long. Look what the Commanders did last week. What the heck? 3?
And Cooper Rush is playing really well. Offensively, 3 straight scores to win that game.
Kellen Moore
Sunday.
knows what he's doing. Kellen Moore was not the best quarterback. He was good. Cooper Rush is not the best quarterback. He is good, and Kellen Moore knows what he needs to do to make him look amazing.
31 passes, 31 rushes.
And I think Anthony Pollard is doing a better job than Zeke.
Vegas has the Niners favored in this game.
I know.
Right.
Yes.
Which
Okay.
surprises the heck out of me after what I saw against the Denver game.
Monday night, Rams 2-1, 49ers 1-2, San Fran favored by 1.5.
Yes.
So confusing. So is Vegas telling me the 49ers have a better defense than the Rams? Or you're telling me that somehow the 49ers have a better offense than the Rams? I'm really confused.
Well,
A little help.
We know the 49ers have a better defense. I think so. I mean, the 49ers are second in total defense behind the Bills. They're only allowing like 230 yards a game. The Rams have not looked very crisp on offense. So
Niners have a few injuries, so do the Rams. You were saying the Rams don't look all that crisp.
offensively, no.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
Yeah.
but on that 49ers defense, they played Bears in a monsoon. They had a very, who I called, they're already tanking, Seattle team that gave up 7. And then they played the Denver team that can't score.
yes.
So I can't give their defense a whole lot of love,
No.
mainly because they haven't really been tested by anybody yet.
But when you're allowing even the worst NFL teams less than 250 yards a game, they're still a good defense.
Rams had Arizona to, 17? And they just went up all over Kansas City and the Raiders. So I know I like Denver. I'm sorry, not Denver. I like the Rams cover and probably win by 7-8 points on their own.
Okay. Beginning of the year, Rams beat Buffalo 31-10. They lost. They
Right.
lost. They
Right.
lost to Buffalo. I apologize. I said that wrong. That was the first game of the season. Was that still preseason though?
No.
No.
That was first game. That was
Okay.
opening game.
All right. Okay. And then the next week against Atlanta, 31-27. So they won by 3. Arizona, I still think they have issues. They do. James is nodding his head. Yeah, they do.
Everybody's on their bandwagon still. I'm like, Arizona's not a good football team. They're decent. They're not I think they make the playoffs just by virtue of their record or their schedule, but they'll be one and done.
Yeah, last week, I was talking about my favorite team in the NFC is the 49ers. And I still believe that they do have the best all-around team, but boy, I don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo's got it this year. I don't know.
Do you think with Trey Lance they're winning this game?
No.
No.
I think Jimmy
No.
Garoppolo
I
does
think Jimmy
have it.
Garoppolo is the better choice of the two.
I
we'll
think
see. It's early in the year. We'll see.
It is early. I think Jimmy has something to prove. He's like, well, you guys wanted to pass on me? I'll show you that you guys are wrong. And I want money and I want paid. And Trey Lance, if you stay here and I'm gone, good. I will come back and beat you.
And what did we say about Brady a few minutes ago? No practices, no preseason. Jimmy G didn't get much love. He didn't see the ones at all in practice. It was all Trey Lance. Preseason, again, not much love because they're trying to trade him, so they didn't want him to get hurt. And now he's trying to get his feet under him. So, yeah, I give you that he's probably couldn't get better as the season goes. That Denver game, he's probably feeling his feet because he had half a game the game before, came in when he got hurt. This was his first full game with Denver. Rams is a tough sled. I mean, you got that front. These teams know each other very well. You know, obviously division rivals. And Aaron Donald, that D-line, I think they come after that run game to slow it down and make Jimmy G try to beat him over the top. Kittle's is back. He's going to have another full game. So Jimmy G's favorite target.
I'll stay with my Niners. Niners at home.
Niners at home. Roger took the Niners at home. Go ahead, James.
Oh, no, it's, you know, when you have the two California teams playing each other and you're at the home team, it's like a 4-hour drive. You know, it's like they're not changing time zones. It's not like an East Coast, West Coast. I got to get my sleep adjusted. So the home court advantage on that East-West, when it's Rams and 49ers, I call it even.
Monday night game. I think that's going to be a great Monday night game. I think it's going to be a bloody knuckle fight. They're gonna have fun. We didn't hit every game this week in the college. We didn't hit every game in the NFL that some people might want to talk about. But I'm going to touch briefly on the Chargers. They're in trouble with all of the injuries that they have. Bosa, that was sad. That kid is going to have an amazing career if he can stay healthy. Herbert can still sling it. They don't have a running back per se.
Right, and all the talk coming in, I was on that bandwagon. I don't do fantasy football anymore, but if I would have grabbed him 4th or 5th round, thinking that, you know, coming in this year, he had, you know, pretty decent last year, can only go up. And wow, it has not been a great running game. And again, what helps the quarterback is a decent running game. Just give him a decent game. I mean, it's like having Zeke back there last year. You're getting 3 yards a carry. It's always 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6. Yeah, I agree. The Chargers have an uphill battle. If they can win against the Texans this weekend on the road, obviously, they can get to 500 and maybe try to right the ship. Injuries early in the season always gives you a chance when they come back and make a run at the end. But, man, losing Bosa now on IR, so he's guaranteed 4 weeks. He's getting
Sorry, gentlemen, I just coughed.
He's getting surgery, so he's out IR for 4 weeks for sure. So, yeah, the offense, hey, we're going to have to score 7, 8, 10 points more a game now.
Yeah.
His injury. Go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, Chargers lost the right tackle, too.
They did. Yeah.
He's the guy that protects Herbert, and Herbert's injured, playing injured.
Oh, my gosh, that hit was nuts. Ouch.
They're down 28, and their coach is still playing him in the 4th quarter. 5 minutes to go, letting him get beat up still. Yeah, I don't know. Chargers are kind of a disappointment so far this year.
I think they beat the Texans on the road. I mean, granted, I think that, like I said earlier, Texas and Seattle are the tanking, you know, push to see who can get the first quarterback coming in the number 1 pick or whatever you want to call it. Texans still put up more fight, I think, than Seattle does throughout the year. I really like to see the Chargers win this one. I think they can pretty decently. We got to step up NFL with it. Everybody has that mantra, next man up, next man up. Well, like the Steelers, they do it. Somebody else got to do it now.
In my mind, you'd be smart to rest Herbert. He's questionable. Just write off one game and move forward. And they may not even write off. Honestly, I don't even know who Herbert's backup is.
I don't either, honestly. They're rushing for a whopping 60 yards a game. The Chargers. That is horrible.
I read an article that before the trade deadline, the Chargers should look at going after Saquon Barkley.
I would trade him Zeke.
Holy crap. I love it. Okay, so what would you get? I've been saying trade Zeke for the last 2 years. And there's a lot of Cowboy fans that look at me and like, I'm going to stab you if you say that again. I'm like, well, get some value out of the guy. He's a running back. You have this short window of how good you're going to be over the years. He's hit it. Pollard is better. But that being said, they get rid of him. They get something in. Now they're worse. Is he great in the locker? I don't know. But
him and Dak's relationship is unbelievable, which wraps up all of the offensive line, all the offense. Everybody feeds off of those two. When you have two guys, the character that they are and the personalities, they pull everybody in. But just go to the Giants game last week, or the Monday night game, I guess a few days ago. Pollard averaging 9 yards a carry, just about the same amount of carries as Zeke, who averaged just over 5, or around 5 yards a carry, against a not a very good Giants rush team. Pollard is definitely more explosive. He did a lot better picking up the blitz and blocking, which is what Zeke gets all the credit for. He's a monster when you try to come and send a blitz. But yeah, get a trade, and for Dallas, what would I be looking at? I'd try to look for a top-tier wide receiver to shore that up, except Noah Brown is playing lights out. I mean, he's second on the team in reception and yards behind CeeDee Lamb. You get Gallup back, so maybe it's not the wide receiver we need. Maybe it's another starting corner or something. But yeah, I would, if Chargers willing to give up a couple draft picks, especially like maybe a second rounder, I'll be talking.
Justin Herbert's backup is Chase Daniel.
Solid. He's not no Cooper Rush.
Put him in. See what he does. Save your quarterback. He's no Cooper Rush. Oh my gosh. You need to stay off that Dallas Cowboys Kool-Aid.
Anybody interested in the London game? There's a London game this weekend.
There is.
Yes. So the interesting fact on that one, they got the tale of two things. When do you go? The Saints have been there the full week. They went right away and getting adjusted to the time zone. Minnesota's not going until Friday night, Saturday morning. They're going to get
Stupidest thing
there.
you could do.
Right. So they're saying, I want to keep on the central time zone. This was the coach, Minnesota. Keep them all going, practice everything here. They're going to fly over, do the few walkthroughs, and then play the game. Saints did the opposite. By the way, they're both in the central time zone, obviously, Saints, Minnesota. Saints went on over early to get acclimated, get all the sights and sounds, all the touristy stuff out of their head, and be ready for the game. I still like Minnesota because their talent is way better than the Saints.
Dalvin Cook is questionable. He's beat up a little bit. Minnesota's 2-1. New Orleans Nolans is 1-2. They both have some people hurt. Saints are favored by 2.5. Overs and unders 43.5.
I think that's low.
I think the Saints, my opinion, I think the Saints have more talent than the Vikings. Jameis Winston cannot. He can't help himself. He just has to turn the ball over.
Okay, I said when I look at, you have Jefferson, you have Thielen. I can't remember who their quarterback is. And I think Cook plays, and you have Kirk Cousins, one of the better game managers and very underrated. I'll take that over whatever Jameis Winston has because, again, Jameis Winston still has to throw the ball.
Yeah, Michael Thomas hasn't come back to his own, so.
I could be wrong. It's been known to happen. I watched the Minnesota game briefly, and I watched Cousins throw to a few receivers. And these guys are so talented that you can make a purposefully dropped catch look like it wasn't on purpose. And I bring this up because I saw 2 back-to-back plays where his receivers didn't catch it, and then he went, I'm throwing to Thielen for the rest of the game. He did get some other receivers in there, but I don't know if the team, I mean the receivers and some other people, like Cousins.
I'll 100% agree with that.
Because then Thielen went out of his way to make sure he was open, and then he was passed to when he was not open.
Right.
And I'm like, well, you had a guy wide open. And then in Cousins' head, in my mind, this is what he was thinking. Well, I can't throw to that guy. He's going to drop it again.
Right.
On purpose. And maybe it wasn't on purpose. I don't know.
I believe there's people on that team that don't think he's the guy to get him to the Super Bowl. 100% agree with that. Unfortunately, because he throws a really good ball. He reads the defenses really well, and he seems to be a step ahead. But when you drop passes, that throws off rhythm. It puts you behind the chains.
He's a smart guy. Is he as smart as what Peyton Manning was at the end of his career? I don't know. Is he talented? Yeah. Is he as talented as what Peyton Manning was at the end of his career? Because I don't think Peyton could throw as far as everybody wanted him to. But he's smart enough to realize that I can't target these receivers because they are going to purposefully drop it or accidentally drop it. Whatever happened, I don't know. But I don't think they want him there. A few people.
Few.
It just looked like that to me because he wasn't upset. I'm not even going to name the receiver's name. It didn't look like he went out of his way to make his quarterback look good. And maybe it was early in the game and he's just like, oh, I got to get in my rhythm. Because there's people like that. But to me, it looked like these guys don't like Cousins. But Thielen will go out of his way to make his quarterback look good. So
Any quarterback. Thielen's going to catch everything you throw at him. He's like Cooper Kupp's like, I don't care if it's who went to Detroit? Quarterback?
Goff.
Jared Goff.
Goff, sorry. I don't care if it's Goff or Stafford. If you throw me the ball, I'm catching it. I don't care.
Oh, there's a lot
That's
of
my
receivers
job.
like that.
Right.
And I think this is going to be a great game. So if you're up at 8:30 in the morning, Central Time, you got an NFL game to start your morning.
Right.
And I
Eating
think that's
breakfast,
great.
Getting ready.
And go Vikes. I think they take this.
I agree.
I think Winston throws a pick, and I think that's the game.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I don't know.
And the best thing if you guys get to watch it, if you wait until 10:30, 11 o'clock, turn the TV on and watch, when you look in the stands, you'll see the Saints and the Minnesota jerseys, but you're going to see every other team's jersey up there because them fans, they just want football over there. I don't think we should put a team over there by no way at all. But it is cool to see everybody wear their favorite team to a single game because it's all they get, you know?
Yeah.
They tried NFL Europe. Do they want a team over there? Yeah, I think somebody does. Money talks. We'll see if it happens.
Just the travel back and forth trying to get acclimated each time. That's just tough. The
It is.
short week on Thursdays is bad enough.
Yeah, that turns it into a 3-4 day week for you. You got to turn around and go do it again.
Right.
How many games are in London this year?
I think two.
Two.
I think they got two this year.
So this is the second one. They've already had one.
No, this is the first one.
Is it?
Yeah. So Judge hit 61 last night. So he's been cruising.
I want to transition it better. No, that's all good. I'll cut all this out. So that was the game overseas, and we're going to completely switch gears. We're going to go to baseball. And why baseball? Well, we had a major record that is tied for Maris. Roger Maris in 1961 with the New York Yankees hit 61 homers in the year 1961. And in 61 years later, Aaron Judge smacked the cover off the ball in Canada for 61.
117 miles an hour. That ball left in a hurry.
Against a team by Bo Bichette, who I was surprised. I thought Bo Bichette would get it done against the Yankees, but those two teams are so good. And it was tied until Judge smacked that ball really hard. 117 miles an hour out of the park.
Right. And the funny thing is they're all numbered, to make sure that it's the right ball. And then it doesn't make it in the stands. So there's no controversy. Does he give it back? Does he sell it? Does he offer? Whatever. Nope. It mounts to one of the pitching coaches down there for Toronto. Judge got the ball back. No big deal on there. But yeah, 61 years later, hit 61. AL ties for the AL home run lead, depending if you count the steroid era or whatever. I do. Everybody's juicing. They hit those home runs. Bond 73, McGuire 70, Sosa 66, I think.
In 1998, Sosa hit
That's theirs.
66, and he might have had a cork bat. I don't know. Maybe
Right.
he didn't. They both had some performance-enhancing drugs in their system. No one would have known that McGuire did it until he admitted it.
And it was only creatine. It wasn't even steroids. It was creatine that he admitted to.
Yeah. Which makes it tougher to get into the Hall of Fame. Just ask Pete Rose about that, but it wasn't steroids. It was gambling.
Right.
I don't know. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
I think it was an amazing feat to have done. Now those numbered balls or whatever, the special balls for Aaron Judge. The foul tip prior to his home run, that ball acted weird. So these are special balls because even the catcher grabbed it, looked at it, and handed it to the ump and said he wanted another one. So they switched it.
And in game 2, the Toronto pitcher got it and didn't like it and threw it out. And the Toronto, and it's a division thing, so they're going to be a little touchy. The Toronto manager didn't like the delay in the game of swapping out the balls. And I was like, dude, really,
Okay,
we're going to whine about this?
So let's fast forward to next year, and this would have happened. And then now they have the time clock. What happens? Do you shut the time clock
Yes.
off when you have records?
Yeah.
Why is that fair?
You shut it off until you swap the balls. But once those balls are in, that clock's going to go.
How is that any different than adjusting your glove?
Because he puts them all right there. It's a half a second to throw him the correct ball.
Yeah, I know. I just like starting controversy.
It's just, but back to Judge. Now he's tied batting average. So he's sitting in the front seat right now for the Triple Crown. Obviously, home runs, he's leading by a lot. RBIs, he's way up there. Tied at 313 on the batting average, and now he doesn't have to press for
Who's
that
he
home
tied
run. The Minnesota guy. Yeah.
Arias.
Yeah.
Luis Arias, something like that. Arias.
The bad thing is that guy doesn't have as much pressure on him as Judge does at every at bat.
Okay. Is that implied pressure? Is that pressure that you think he has? I mean, it's just a game. I think
Right.
the pressure that Judge put on him was by himself.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he wanted to do it in front of the home crowd. So he went 7 games without a homer trying to press. Because I watched the Boston series and there was numerous pitches down the middle or a whole lot of plate and he fouled it off. Or he watched it because he thought it was going to be out of the zone. And I was like, and you can just tell. I'm sure everyone does it. The same with Sosa. He took him a while to get to that 61 because he had a few games where he's like, just swinging. Let the game come to you. And I think that last night, Judge finally relaxed a little bit more, not at home, and got it out of there.
How many games are left in the Major League Baseball series before the playoffs start?
7 or 8.
Six,
Six.
7, depending on
Depending on the
who you
team.
are.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Just a few. So we've got a week or two left.
Next week at this time, there will be no baseball on Thursday, and postseason starts on Friday.
Postseason starts next Friday.
And we have a great race coming up Sunday. You got Mets, Atlanta, Rogers' team, the Braves.
The Braves are looking really good.
And they're in a dead heat. They're already in the playoffs. Well, mathematically, they got the wild card. So now they're trying to win the division against the Mets and the Braves. What a 3-game set that's going to be.
Yep. Mets are up by 1.
I'm dying. Who has the better pitching, Roger? Mets or the Braves?
Right now, I got to say Braves.
It's 50-50, right? You never know.
Yeah, Braves got that rookie, Spencer Strider, who is very good. And then, of course, they got Max Fried. But that 1-2 punch with the Mets. Wow.
Who's the 1-2 punch?
Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, that is the 1-2 punch. Scherzer was questionable game, and wasn't he hurt for a little while?
Yeah, he hasn't been back that long. He's had a few outings. But you got 2 teams that know each other well. It's not like they don't know these pitchers or haven't seen them often. They know these guys. They know the batters. The batter knows the pitcher. So
if the Mets are, yeah, right.
I'm excited.
It is. It's going to be a great
Yep.
matchup. So if the Mets are down by 1 and it's a 3-game series,
Mets are up by 1.
Mets got the 1-game lead.
Mets have a 1-game lead.
Yep.
And 3-game series to figure out who is the
Starting
top
tomorrow,
of that.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Of all divisions, that's the only one that's going to come really down to the wire. The rest of the little wild card battles here and there. Phillies holding off the Brewers by like a half a game. It's so funny because Philly cannot beat the Cubs, who Cubs are not very good this year. And they lost again to them last night.
Yeah. All these teams that are trying to get into the playoffs now. The Phillies, the Brewers on National League. And then the American League, you got the Jays, Seattle, and the Tampa Bay Rays. None of them are winning.
Right.
They're all playing under 500 ball. It's like I don't know if they are not realizing that, hey, postseason's a week away. We got to start playing ball. They're all losing.
Jay's lost, I think, 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 to the Rays, and then now is playing the Yankees and can't beat them. They're luckily they had a nice little streak in there, but they're definitely going in the wrong direction to get hot for the playoffs.
But then Yankees are 9-1. They've already won the division, but they're still winning.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland's already won the division, and they're still winning. They're 8-2 in the last 10 games.
And Yankees played bench players yesterday.
And Cardinals they've won their division, and they're 7-3.
Cardinals are looking really good. Yeah.
Usually that it's the other way around.
This should be a fun postseason. This should be a really fun postseason.
I think the division winners in the 3 leagues are the teams to beat.
It's very hard to repeat. Atlanta has a chance if they can figure it out. Roger, do you think they'll do it?
No.
Yeah, I don't think they will.
I think it's too hard to repeat.
It is.
I don't think they will.
I don't think they will either. It's tough. I mean, man, they're good.
I'll be rooting for them, but no, I don't think they repeat.
Yeah, and as much as I hate to say it, I don't see the Yankees getting to the World Series. They might get to the league championship, ALCS, but I don't see them getting to the World Series.
Yeah, they can't beat the Astros.
Yep. Yeah.
And
100%.
the Astros are tough.
Yep.
They lost last night, but Verlander, who's only been back a couple weeks too, he pitched really good.
Always does.
Yes.
Talk about a guy that should be
he's
a
going to
first
win the
ballot Hall of Famer.
I'm pretty sure he's going to win the American League Cy Young.
I'd give it to him.
Yeah.
All right, Roger and James, we had fun today. Is there any final thoughts?
I do have one way off the left field here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Power rankings in pro sports, I believe, are the most pointless thing I've ever seen. All year, you've seen the baseball power rankings. Oh, we got these guys, and we're moving them up and down. Obviously, basketball does it too. It's not even basketball season yet, but they're going to do it also. Especially after 3 games into an 82-game series, we're going to do power rankings. NFL, we do power rankings, and me and Roger talked about it earlier. Oh, you put these in there. What is the point? They mean absolutely nothing for standings. They don't do anything for the playoffs. All there are is a talking thing for no reason. I don't care when they do these on these sports shows of, oh, who's your top 5? It doesn't matter if a 3-1 team's ahead of a 3-0 team or a 4-0 team or whatever. Power rankings in pro sports are pointless. College, I get it because it helps your rankings and you got to get into the playoff mathematical formula to get in there. But in pro sports, the biggest waste of time on the sports shows is where I got to listen to a 10-minute spiel of freaking power rankings in pro sports. Give me a break.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, last week, power rankings showed Bills, Chiefs, and Buccaneers.
Right.
And all 3 teams lost.
Right. So now we got to shuffle it around a little bit. Hope they got a loss, so now they're not the strongest team.
Yeah.
Bills, I think, are still the best team in the NFL. I don't care that they lost.
Yeah.
You're not putting the Eagles number 1 now just because, oh, well, they won and the Bills lost.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Power rankings in the pro sports suck, according to James. Pointless. Is he wrong? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, there's no ranking other than your record. And it's whoever wins, so.
Yeah. Going back to baseball postseason, the wild card round. They added a team. So now there's no 1-game play-in. It's a best of 3. First 2 teams get by. And all 3 games are played at the higher seeded team's home venue.
Right.
Yes.
And it was funny.
No travel.
They took a page from the NBA. So the NBA used to be best out of 5, that first series, best out of 5. And they're like, oh my gosh, that team was getting warm. Man, imagine if they played 7. It would have been an amazing series. So now the NBA playoffs are extended. Everything's a 7-game series, which is, I think, is not a good idea. Baseball. Oh man, imagine if they played, I bet they would have won if they played a best out of 3. Instead of just that 1-game play-in. Their pitcher didn't have the rest it needed. And if they had him one more start. So baseball said, oh, sure. let's add to the schedule. We'll put 2 more games. We'll make it best out of 3. It will eventually be, best out of 5. It will eventually be another best out of 7. And baseball is going to play into Thanksgiving, for crying out loud.
Yeah, for more money. That's the only reason it happened.
100%.
Well, I think the division series has always been best of 5 since it started in baseball.
I'm talking about the 1-game playoff now is
Yeah.
extended
Yes.
because they added that team. That's what I'm saying is pretty soon they're going to make that best of 7.
It just gives the best team more chance to
I
win.
could see him pushing it up to 5, after a year or 2.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, in the division series has always been best of 5 since it started in baseball. They've never pushed that to 7 games.
I bet you it's coming.
Roger, any final thoughts? Anything we didn't cover? Anything you want to touch on again?
I don't believe so. I wait till next week to make our predictions on how we think the playoffs are going to.
Yeah, let's see who stacks up where and what kind of matchups we have.
We still
Definitely.
have the Brewers and the Padres, or no, the Brewers and the Phillies,
right,
playing for that final spot. Otherwise, the American League set as far as the teams, unless somehow the Orioles could win 7 in a row and one of these other teams lose.
And the O's
I think they're 3 or 4 out of the
4.5. Yep.
out of the last spot.
Yep.
So yeah, they
and they were
basically
looking so good. The O's were making the right push, and Texas was beating Seattle, but O's just cannot beat Boston, who they beat handedly a few series earlier. And now, right when they need to win these games, they're not coming through. I feel for the O's. They're a great young team. I hope next year is the one they finally start to click and they push the Yankees for that AL East.
Yep.
Fun stuff. I'm glad we got a chance to get together and talk sports for you folks to listen. And it's Thursday. So we have an NFL game for you tonight. The Dolphins and Cincinnati Bengals. We have Utah State, BYU tonight for college, and South Carolina State and South Carolina Gamecocks at 6 p.m. tonight, which then moves us to the Friday night game.
The UCLA, Washington.
And then some volleyball on Friday.
Braves and Mets are off tonight. So
Yes.
they'll get a good rest and then pick it up again. Something to keep an eye on.
And then Friday, we have some fun volleyball with Rutgers. I think they sweep Rutgers. Our volleyball team just keeps getting better and better. Love John Cook. Hope he stays until he's 102. And
on the volleyball, Wisconsin taking that attendance record. So everyone listening, get to their people, and next time they set a bigger venue, we need to support and take that back. We went from 15-7. Wisconsin played Florida, filled the venue up to 16-8. So let's push for a 17,000 next time. Nebraska volleyball has a place where we could put 17,000 people in the stands.
play it in the middle of Memorial Stadium.
if any of the 53 people that listen to our podcast know Trev Alberts, make sure that we play volleyball in Memorial Stadium sometime soon, because we would pack that sucker.
80,000.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to Blue Collar Sports. It's about 11 o'clock on a Thursday, and I will get this up to the internet so you can listen to it. I'm Daryl.
James.
Roger.
Thanks for listening, Blue Collar Sports.
You imagine